Right, back with Kizuna Works. As you can see, I've fitted a standard steel barrel to it. The only one I can get at the moment is one of these Infinity 4.3 ones, which are very nice, but maybe excessive for what I really was wanting, but it's good. Right. What I have bought is one of these Dr. Black Type Y 4.3 slides. It's got this off of G CAPA Hub. There you go. So that's very nice, very well finished. Let's have a little straight away, reasonably tight. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, I mean that slides well. Not a bad fit. Oh, getting it off might be. There you go. It's a very tight fit. I can't see where it's wearing now. Anyway, so I'm gonna fit a AM Sear and a QB hammer, just because I can. So let's start with that. I'm going to move that slide out of the way and I'll do that later. There we go. You can see the hammer's made of pot metal. It's already deforming. All it's doing is hitting an aluminium hammer plate. Right. Is it that one? Nope. That one. I'm going to move this over here. And now this should pop out. There you go, all of that. We need there's a knack to this. There we go. So easiest way to take this apart is to take that spring out first through this hole. I suspect they've done that because they've thought about it. Go on there. The next bit you've got to be careful, as we've seen in the last video, because bits go flying. Oh, pins. There we go. So now this should all slide out relatively nicely. There we go. Have I missed it? Oh, it's because that So now that should slide out. There you go. Now you've got to be careful with the spring. So I'm gonna try and contain it. There you go. Nice one. So that's getting replaced because it's not very good. And I'm also going to replace this. There you go. And there you go. So now, to test whether you've done it right, yep, you can see the hammer's hitting that. So that's done, that's nice. Time for it all to go back in. So that can go there. I'm going to try putting this in first. Don't normally, but why not? And then the dreaded spring. Making a proper mess of this. There we go. There we go. Right, that's back in. Put in this sear. There you go. Pins. That one's in. And then put this spring in here. just feed it in. There you go. Awesome. And now for everything else. Not the simplest of designs, but it's actually not too difficult. Make sure that this is seated correctly, which it is. There you go. Safety's done. Hammer seems to work somewhat. Let's put all of this back in. Right, let's try with the original slide. Yep, that's neat. That looks a little bit better on my view. Right. So that's done. That is easy enough. You could replace these as well, but they seem alright. It's just the hammer and the sear that's already rounding that I wasn't particularly happy with. Alright. Let's try the slide. Right, so I'm going to do straight, so first off is a straight swap. Of course. All right, that's promising. That was a straight drop in. There we go. Let's have a look here. So the mag release doesn't quite engage. It does actually feel quite good. So that's quite good. I have actually bought a edge blowback unit. I'm going to have a little look into this soon. The first thing I'm going to do though is strip this apart. And I'm going to take the barrel out of this. Probably 3D print some shims for this to get it to the right length. Interesting that Tokyo Marui have gone for a black brass barrel. Okay, that's too short. All right. Let's have a look at a 9-ball barrel. I think this might be too long, but we will see. Yeah, I think this one will be too long to have. What's the same? That is the same. Okay, that might be annoying. There we go. goes in there, no problem. Let's use the Dr. Black rod. Here we go. Okay, so it is over travelling now by something like 5 mil. So I can put in a spacer on that, and that'll be fine. So that's interesting. So the reason I want this, and I don't have the right length barrel at the moment, is I'll be able to run this tracer, but I think I need a 97 mil barrel, which I don't have at the moment. So yeah. There you go, there you go. There you go. There you go. Perfect. That. There you go. Doesn't quite line up on the front. It's not the end of the world. I don't really care. So yeah, that's that. Let's have a look at right. So that can go there. That will do for now. And now to look at the blowback unit. Right. So I think there'll be a way of making this compatible. So I suspect first try it will be two right. So what we're going to do is remove the piston head and mark out where I need to cut it to shorten it. Maybe a terrible idea, we'll have to see. There you go, so that's where we're going to have to cut. If you look now, that will bring the piston head right into alignment. Oh. So I didn't record all the grinding and all the noise I was making, but I've cut down the blowback unit with the cylinder. It's not particularly pretty. I've also cut down the the screw by the same measurement. And then tighten that up. And now that sits really well. I'm not sure how good the air seal is. Might not be particularly good, and might need to get a better O-ring fitted. But we'll have a look. Okay, that's good. Oops, just dropped the recoil rod. Might get a slightly nicer recoil rod as well. There we go. Now let me just get a mag and see if it's all actually come together. I suspect it's not a very good air seal on the blowback unit, so it might not work all that great. What's happening? Interestingly, that's not going all the way in. I wonder why. You can see it's hitting something. Looking at the differences, I'm not sure if you can see where the black marker is, but those are the areas that you need to remove, otherwise it hits the mag, the feed lip on the way in. So yeah. So I've done a bit of fiddling, and this will be the final update because it's now finished. So what I have done is I have fitted a Edge version 2 blowback unit. So if I get the old blowback unit out, and I'll explain what modifications you have to do to get it to work. Let's get the old blowback unit out. Alright, so I used this one as an example. If I... okay, it is... right. So, the first thing you need to do is measure out this distance and cut down your cylinder to that length. So if you look at this one, it's been cut down to match the same cylinder length. It's pretty much to the millimetre correct. If you get it wrong and you cut it too short, it's not the end of the world. You can always put a washer in the back to extend it out. You then need to cut the screw down by the same amount so that the screw tightens properly. The next thing you need to do is on a high CAPA spec, a TM high CAPA spec blowback unit, this area and this area protrudes out more. So you basically need to clear out this area and this area, and that allows the magazine to interface. Where's my magazine? There we go. So it allows the feed lips to interface properly there. If you don't do that, what you'll find is you insert the magazine and it gets stuck, or the slide doesn't come into battery properly because it's actually engaging up here instead of down here. So those are the modifications. Not difficult. I think it took me to grind that down and to grind that down. You can probably see that I've not done the best job. That was 15 minutes. And then cutting the piston lid down, the piston down was another half an hour to do it carefully. So yeah, there you go. And for those wondering why this, it is because I have a special tracer made by a good friend of mine that fits specifically on here to match the profile. So there you go. That is it done. So even the blowback unit, although it's not perfectly TM spec, it's actually not a massive job to get it working. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you next time.